Ohayou gozaimasu. What's up, everybody? Sorry, I've been pretty quiet lately, but you know, everybody gets busy. I'm not going to get into that because this is about the bike, it's not about me. But look, speaking about the bike, we are at 8,039 miles. So I figure my 5,000 mile review came and went, so it's going to have to be an 8,000 mile review. I'm going to try and keep it under 10 minutes. You guys don't have to sit through a whole lot, but I want to talk about everything that's been going through my mind over time. I'm going to start by saying that fairly recently I did lay the bike down. I was making a left-hand turn onto a highway, and when I hit the yellow line, I lost traction. The bike came out from under me. So the reason why I want to talk about that is, I mean, you can see the bike is still in one piece. This here is just a BMX peg that I attached to the seat mount bolt. I had to go and buy some aftermarket bolts because it's longer than the factory bolt to get through the peg. But you can see the peg took some damage, but it kept the plastics off the road, kept my turn signal safe. The kickstand did get a little bit of damage here. Not too bad, right? I didn't notice anything on the what do you call this, the peg. And then my handlebar handguard at Attribes. Anyway, that got some pretty good road rash. And my handlebar, I'm try and give you a head-on shot here. The handlebar is about 2 inches lower on the left side, so I do have to replace the handlebar, but I mean the forks and everything pretty good. Don't worry about this crack because I got that before I even bought the bike, and the dealership promised to replace it for me, and they never have. But I just wanted to say that I have laid it down. It's been pretty robust. So aside from that, I'm gonna talk about the bike from front to back, I guess. Let's do this so we can turn the headlight off. Oh, that's another thing. The low beam on the bulb blew out from the crash. In the grand scheme of things, I think it was pretty minimal. I do have an LED bulb waiting at home to go in. Just ordered that off of Amazon, so that's gonna be installed this weekend. From the very front, the Pirelli MT60s came with the bike, right? Those are the factory tires. And for those of you who watch my 1,200 mile review, I was a little bit concerned about the cracking and cracking in the rubber, but one of the viewers had commented that it might be because of overinflation, you know, high tire pressure. So what I did is I let my air pressure down a little bit, and 8,000 miles and I still have the tires, so I guess that's kind of lengthy in the motorcycle world. I don't know. This is my first motorcycle, but just kind of randomly browsing the internet, Instagram, such and such. I get the impression that 8,000 miles are kind of a lot on a motorcycle, but I plan to change them soon. Let me see if I can kind of clean them off a little bit. I plan to change them soon because winter is coming. We're already into fall, September here in Washington. But I have been kind of trying to squeeze them out as long as I could. So I'll admit, maybe they're a little bit overdue. They seem to be doing fine still. Those are good. The front brakes, okay, so both brakes, I haven't changed the pads or the rotors at all. I'm trying to get in nice and close on both of them. And I guess now is a good time to say that after 8,000 miles, really the only maintenance I've done on the bike is at, gosh, what was it? I think it was at 1,600 miles or something like that. I took the bike in for just a regular checkup, which I guess they do the tire pressures and look at the battery and that kind of stuff. They did a firmware update at that point, and they bricked the bike, so that was disappointing. But aside from that, I had replaced the belt. I think you guys may have seen the video where I broke the belt out on a ride. And then a little bit ago, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months ago, something like that, I had a bad DC to DC converter, I guess that's what it's called. So when I plugged the bike in, it wouldn't close the contactor and the bike wouldn't charge. So I took it down to Oregon, the dealer in Oregon, Yamaha Motorsports Plaza. They ordered up the DC to DC. Zero replaced it for free. It was under warranty. But I want to talk about that for a little bit. I have to say that emotionally it was a pretty big hit, because I love the bike so much, but at that point it was kind of like, man, you know, what's the reliability going to be like? And during that week that I didn't have my bike, it was pretty tough. A, because I just love riding, right, and I didn't want to drive to work, because who wants to do that? But anyway, it really kind of rocked me, like, is this a bike that we go to depend on and to ride reliably at all times? So I kind of gave myself a probationary period of saying, well, you know, if I run into another major setback with electronic components within the next 6 to 8 months, I may consider getting into something else. So I'm hoping that I'm not jinxing myself right now, but as of this video, at 8,000 miles, we're still pretty good. So the DC to DC converter, the firmware bricking the bike at like 12 or 1,600 miles or something like that, and then the belt. So belt, DC converter, and the firmware update are the only things in the 8,000 miles that have put me off of this bike. Other than that, the bike's been real solid. The ABS is flawless. Your maintenance material, the tires, the brakes, as in the rotors and pads, the fluids, stuff like that, I haven't touched it. I haven't touched the bike in 8,000 miles. The only work I did myself was the belt, which the belt was like 90 bucks from the dealer, I think. But for those of you who don't know, I do have the chain conversion from Zero for the FX. I don't imagine that it's a completely direct bolt-on. Maybe it is. I don't know. We'll get there. I do plan on putting the chain on here eventually, but I'm going to ride out the life of the belt. And once the belt breaks, then I'll put on the rear sprocket, and I'll probably extract the motor myself and take it to a dealer and have them pull the front sprocket. But I don't know. That's kind of, we'll get there when we get there. What else? The tank. Ooh, here's a good one. We're gonna have to talk about the tank, right? Because some of you may be not fond of the red thing, and I get it, but it's my bike and I've done what I did. Anyway, it's gonna change. This design here is gonna be changing because I have already ordered a couple of quick chargers from DigiNow. So I got the DigiNow Supercharger V2 on order. I'm hoping to have those in a 2 or 3 week period. Pretty excited about that. But it's going to require me redoing that red thing, because that has to go away. I'm going to mount the chargers here. Let me open this up real quick. Okay, so the chargers are going to go in there, right? And they have a cool little mount that kind of mounts to these points right here. And so I'm going to build myself a cover, probably out of aluminum tubing and maybe a little bit of sheet metal, to allow ventilation, as well as keep the majority of the rain off of the chargers. The chargers are waterproof, but I don't know, it's just the way I want to do it, so that's what's going to be done. Let's see, the handguards I think helped in the accident. Maybe the bar would have been a little worse off had I not had those hand guards there. Maybe not. I do plan on replacing the handlebars. I'm kind of new to this, so I've measured this, and it's like 1 1/8 inches, but I think we're 7/8 of an inch out here. So I've been meaning to call Hollywood Electrics or Zero to see what my best bet is on replacing the handlebars, but I've been kind of on other tasks, so it's been kind of on the back burner. What else do I want to talk about? My cluster is fairly flawless. it's been holding up in the weather pretty well. Being Washington, it rains a lot. I know that some of the older generations have had a little bit of issue with their display. So far, so good. Crossing the fingers. The headlight housing, still really good clarity. You know, it's not cloudy or scratched up or anything like that. The bulbs are still good. Let me see what else. Haven't touched my brake fluid. The suspension, the front forks and the rear, I haven't done any maintenance on those. I think the manual suggests lubing them up or whatever. To be honest, I haven't done that. So I don't know if it's in my mind, if I'm getting used to the bike or what, but sometimes when I'm at a stop, I'll kind of play with the bike. I'll rock it back and forth with the brakes on and just kind of check the performance, I guess, of the suspension. And I feel like maybe the front might be a little, I'm going to call it notchy, right? So what I mean is, like, when I hold the brake and I kind of dip the bike down a little bit, there's just a tiny bit of, like, when it first starts to move, it kind of like, it feels a little bit more resistance, and then once it starts to go, then it moves pretty fluidly. So I'm not sure if that's normal or what the deal is with that. The motor doesn't overheat or anything. I was kind of bummed that my Zero sticker on the frame kind of got damaged. That was because when it was mounted to the frame, it wasn't flush. I got my custom license plate. Let's see. The seat, right? So I got a big old butt. And it smashes the cushion down a bit. So sometimes, like right in this area, it feels a little uncushioned. Like, you know, my butt feels like there's a plastic seat pushing up against me. But maybe that's just because I weigh a lot, and after 8,000 miles, the cushion's a little worn. But your results could vary. I don't know. Other than that, I plan to buy a little bit of auxiliary lighting for the front. Get a little bit more light coming out the front. At least the windscreen. Maybe try to do some kind of fairing. Like, I know that Hollywood Electrics now sells an aftermarket fairing. So that might be in the works in the future. I don't know. No promises on that one. How does the bike ride after 8,000 miles? Just as beautifully as the first day. It still performs with a lot of torque. The brakes still stop, I feel, rather adequately. I don't have much of a reference point. Well, just my charge cord's in here, by the way, if you guys were wondering. It's supposed to be a tank bag. It's a butt bag now, so that's what it is. Anyway, I was gonna say, my buddy who has a 2016, I believe, maybe it's a 2017, one of the two. He just got an R3. So I let him ride this for a quick minute, and he feels like the brakes were not up to spec with his R3, and that's completely possible. I would imagine that a sport bike would probably brake better to begin with, but he said the brakes made him feel a little uneasy, so maybe that's true. As far as, like, I don't know, but I feel that they perform very well. I mean, see, the bike's still over top. Basically, I don't know. I mean, I'm just as happy with it as day one. I'm very excited to take it on some long range trips once I get these chargers from Digino and I get them installed. I mean, I've even had to ride the bike to work in the snow once. That was sort of involuntary, but I made it work. And I'd say maybe up to like a ½ inch of snow on the road in some places. Off the road was maybe like, I don't know, 2 to 3 inches or something like that. So I mean, it wasn't like a crazy blizzard or anything, but that was my first time riding in the snow, and there was actual snow on the road, like being compacted, etc. So yeah, it got me there safe and back. That's really all that matters. Whoa. Vibration is like playing with my voice. Anyway, I've had a bunch of viewers ask me for different things, like doing an EMF sensor all the way to like trying to see how quickly I can discharge the battery by, you know, riding it with a lot of throttle, a lot of acceleration, a lot of braking and stuff. So you know, I've gotten a lot of ideas from the viewers, and I appreciate that. I'm going to try to fulfill all of those requests, simply because I think some of those would be fun, and you know, for experimentation, education, all that stuff, I think it'd be neat to do. But you know, I have been pretty busy, so I can't guarantee that I'm going to get to all of them, and I'm not going to get to all of them right away, that's for sure. But you know, this was just kind of just to talk about the bike and where I'm at after 8,000 miles. So the short answer is I'm still loving it. There was a period of time where I was kind of shaken as to the reliability, but I'm long past that now. The bike has held up pretty well after my crash. The daily maintenance stuff has virtually been nil. There are things that I want to do to improve it. Obviously the chargers, possibly the front fairing, lighting, stuff like that. Shoot, what else was I gonna say? Dang, you know, I don't know what else to talk about, because I was going to script this all out, but I don't do very well at that kind of stuff, so I just want to kind of talk about what was on my mind. I don't know what else to say. That's really it, I guess. So, thank you for watching. I hope you found this video informative. And please be sure to check out the rest of the series here on the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and pass this video to your friend. All that stuff. Anyway, I guess let's get one last look at the bike. Ooh. Not that bad, eh? Oh, maybe there's a car coming, maybe not. So yeah, if you have any questions, post them in the comments. I'd be glad to answer them. And you know, again, if you have any video requests or whatever, shoot those as well. Oh, I do have some old video that I'm going to try and edit and put together. Things like the installation of the hand guards, my own little do-it-yourself tie detail, and then I'm probably going to video when I install the DigiNows. I'm not going to make a how-to video because that's not what I'm about, but I will video my experience of the installation, just so that maybe you guys have a reference or whatever. You know, I'm not going to make a tutorial for you guys, but that'll be neat. And then hopefully once the chargers are in, we'll have a lot more adventure videos, long distance rides and that kind of thing. So enjoy it, guys. Take it easy. Thanks for watching.